coming week on Capitol Hill. That is, Senate Democrats continue to try and block Republican congressional efforts to dismantle that agreement. Republican Congressman Mike Turner of Ohio is now urging his colleagues to keep fighting and demand a better deal. He says, quote, "I am perplexed as to how any member of Congress can vote in good faith knowing there are secret side agreements to this deal. The president is seeking approval of a deal that largely remains hidden from the public. Iran's previous actions toward the global community are reason enough not to trust this deal." The president, of course, says the deal will stop an Iranian nuclear bomb, but his critics doubt that. Joining us now is Ohio Congressman Mike Turner. He is also the chairman of the House Armed Services Subcommittee on Tactical Air and Land Forces. Congressman, good to see you. The Senate on Tuesday will vote a second time. Probably no change. I mean, what, if anything, could that achieve?
Well, the one thing that we know, Eric, is that a majority, a bipartisan majority of both the House and the Senate are opposed to this bad deal with Iran that is dangerous for our national security and for our allies. You know, as you were saying, though, what is disturbing and really shocking is that the underpinnings, the foundation of this bad deal with Iran is an agreement between the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency under the United Nations, and Iran, and that deal is secret. The administration's admitted that Secretary Kerry and the president have not had access to this deal. No one has read this deal, and certainly no one in Congress has. So it's very troubling that anyone would be for a deal where the very foundation of it is still secret.
I mean, that's absolutely astounding because the IAEA agreement, Tehran says, is confidential. I mean, Tehran has objected to the U.S. government financing this agreement, and it has to do with two of them. Basically, one has to do with the access to those military sites like Parchin, and another one has to do with taking soil samples that the Iranians apparently will be providing the samples to the IAEA. I mean, Congressman, how could this happen that the U.S. government, that Congress, that everyone could go on board with this deal, yet maybe not have read the fine print? You wouldn't buy a house that way.
Absolutely, Eric. It's shocking and it's really amazing. And the one thing that we know from the portion of the deal that is public, this is not the deal the president promised, and this is bad for our national security. The president promised that there would be inspections anywhere, anytime, and that's just absolutely not true. The deal does not provide for that. It also provides a path for Iran to get, intercontinental ballistic missiles, which would ultimately lead to placing the mainland United States at risk. Everyone is very concerned that here we have a nation, Iran, that's the largest sponsor of international terrorism, that's going to be rewarded as they continue to pursue weapons that would place the United States at risk.
Even though this apparently is a done deal, there still are calls for further action. Washington Post today, editorial, let me read that to you and get your reaction. It says, Congress can make clear that Mr. Obama or his successor will have the support for immediate U.S. military action if an Iranian attempt to build a bomb is detected. One trigger could be verification that Tehran is producing highly enriched uranium. Another would be the resumption of work on warhead designs and materials. So, Congressman, is it possible, even if the deal's in place, that the Senate and the Congress then could pass further type of legislation that would, guarantee some of this and make it more ironclad, even that would be satisfy the opponents?
There's no question that the next administration can take additional action that could make America safe with respect to Iran's threats and Iran's nuclear programs. This administration, even this president, has said that he had not taken off the table military action if Iran would continue to march to get a weapon. The problem is that this administration trusts Iran to say that stop. Certainly, I think the international community does it, and that's another concern that we have within the region, is there could be a major arms race throughout the Middle East as the neighbors to Iran see Iran as getting an edge and therefore becoming a threat to them also.
Talking about trusting Tehran, let me show you some of the Twitters from the Supreme Leader, Ali Khamenei. I mean, he keeps on bashing us, even though they've had that agreement and Zarif sat down with us. Here's a tweet. Iranian nation did not expel this great Satan, that's us. We barred their direct access, and now we must not allow their indirect access and infiltration. U.S. is the great Satan. Some insist on depicting this great Satan as an angel. He is talking about the fact that Iran is barring U.S. inspectors as part of the IAEA team, or Canadian, at the same time. At the bottom line, at the end of this, do you think we potentially can trust what the IAEA says and what Iran will do when it comes to this agreement?
Absolutely not. I met with the lead inspector from the IAEA about this deal, and he said that they're not even being asked to certify what Iran is disclosing. It's like we're, in part of this deal, trusting what Iran is saying that they're doing. And this is a nation that, beyond the issue of continuing to chant death to America and certainly death to Israel, our strong ally, continues throughout the area to destabilize its neighbors, to be a sponsor of terrorism, and certainly has, through its deeds, not just its words, shown that it is absolutely an enemy and a threat to the United States.
Well, that is certainly the debate. The opponents are lining up again, and of course the supporters probably will prevail for now. We see Eric go, especially with the UN General Assembly starting here late in September. Congressman Mike Turner from Ohio, we thank you so much for spending some of your Saturday afternoon and filling us in today.